We just had the weekly candle close. We just got the daily candle close. And all of this takes you towards a critical information. Look at the daily chart and where the price closed for Bitcoin. That's a significant level with significant data. If you look at the volume to price action, it is clear. Now, yes, you will have to zoom out on a weekly and look at how the weekly closed. This pattern, the price structure, looks significant. But that zone where it closed is more important. The area which the price respected gives you key information about the market. And then when you do look at the altcoins, you're like, we have not moved. Especially XRP was weak. The weekly close came back to this range, but again, one candle and its range is still active. That's on a weekly. The moment you go on a monthly, it shows you the extreme amount of patience we needed. One candle and its range is still active. What does that mean for us in the coming weeks? Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Right now, the crypto market is still at $2.65 trillion, and we are watching how things are moving. But as we go ahead, I would also like to say this. The moment you see these charts, keep in mind, we human beings have one issue, which is our memories tend to be shorter, or we neglect things once it happens. So when the price is getting rejected here with that micro resistance, I would like to take you back to this chart. We had this thought process shared in the SI family saying the price should come touch 70,000. Now, interestingly, where did we slow down? At 70,000, just above that. Which means that price structure which we anticipated, that played out. So what next? So that's on a 4-hour chart. We'll have to follow that up. When you actually go into that, you also have to keep in mind the daily, that matters because it supersedes the 4-hour. The weekly matters a hell lot more because that supersedes even daily. That's another important structure. And we understand the fact that this particular range has been a resistance before, then it held as a resistance. We broke through. Now we are holding that as a support. Not only that, I would like to take your attention towards the price to the volume. Look at this. This particular buying candle, this one, was comparatively much lower than what you had before in selling volume. But it was able to break through and close above that 2 candles. So that amount of buying volume was good. Now, take that information to the candle which is closed now. The most recent weekly close. That shows us the fact that there was a lot more selling pressure than what we had last week in the buying area here. Still, they did not come down here to close the candle, or they failed to push the candle to that downside portion and hold it there. Or simple words, bears were weak. They were short. Now, that means on a weekly, the next week can be a positive one. We may have, now, maybe it's not going to be an explosive candle to the skies. It would just be a small one. Who knows? But the thought process here aligns with that. Okay, in short term, the daily says the opposite, right? You had higher daily volume. We'll zoom in so you know what we are talking about and you don't misunderstand. On a daily candle, this is the price to the volume. When you look at this daily candle which closed in and then this one, you kind of get to see the fact that we had way more volume here than the last candle. But still, they failed. They push it above to make it a bigger candle than what we had last time. So the structure looks really weird, right? That means the mother candle here is active. If we get rejected here, what happens next? You should look for a continuation movement like this. And that would be coming back down to 64,400. Unless we break this and invalidate that structure, this remains the case. So remember, on a daily, it shows you this is a possibility, but the weekly, that shows you, no, it supersedes the daily. If you try to put that information in, let's use a halfway through chart, which is 12 hour. We would most likely see this coming down here and then going up. So the daily is still valid. You corrected back down. The trend line is still valid. You came back down to the trend line. The price structure is still valid because you made to touch at the trend line. And the weekly is still active because you're going back up on the weekly. This can be one of the biggest possibilities with the highest odds in the market. So yes, we need to see whether we are able to break this to the upside when we come back up. Do we have enough volume to follow that through? But the moment you go on a macro chart here, looking at the history from 2017, 2021, and where we are now, it kind of gives you like the 1, the 2, and the 3. That was important, right? Here I only highlighted 2 wicks to the downside. But if you do look at them on our macro horizon, you actually get way more than that. The one area, which is the double bottom, the next area, which is the double bottom, and the next area, which was a inverse head and shoulder. So you got 3 reversal signs before you go up, went up. Now here we are, we had one rounded bottom, we had a spring event, we have another rounded bottom, and here we are trying to bounce back up. So the moment you come back into the price action, and look at what Ether is doing with respect to Bitcoin, what Ether is doing in this market, you're like, okay, we had the bounce. We tried to break through the moving average. That's on a 12 hour. On a daily, we're still below that. So we do have the resistance there, but it is showing you some level of buying activity happening when you combine the indicators, which is positive. Last time when the MACD crossed to the upside, it had this structure, came back down and then went up. So can we do this on a macro and a micro? This will be interesting to literally watch how it is playing out. So on different set of movements in the market, we get to analyze them. We get to see all these data in front of us. The 3-day chart is still relevant. It shows you there is a small movement to the upside happening, not a big one. But that was enough to show you the fact that we had 2 candle closes like this where we held the bottom. Then we have this on the RSI, which shows you we have a negative divergence. If you get confused, move on to a line chart. That gives you the best data. And this has been useful for us from some time. We've been using that. So if you do look at that level of consistency with the market is showing you there is another rectangle portion happening in front of us. Now we go on a monthly because it becomes even important to see where we are. And the monthly shows you we're still in an inside candle. Last time you had such an inside candle, you know what happened. But now if you do measure what that downside was, you see around 18% to the downside. Fine. Now if we put the current market fluctuation, it's been 12. So can we come back down to 18? Can we neglect that as a possibility? I don't think so. But inside candle usually shows you a continuation movement. You may get another candle to the upside, right? That's great. So altcoin market doing that leg would then come into the picture with the pattern, with the price structure. And we've been highlighting that in last couple of videos. If we follow this pattern, which we are doing right now, the 1, the 2, the 3, yeah, the macro, the micro, all of them agrees on that portion. But the market is not going to make that easy for you. Even though we are at $2.6 trillion and still holding on to that level before any big parabolic move just came into the market, we're watching some of these assets starting to bounce. They're trying to utilize something. So we have ANA, we have Mantle, different assets trying to do positive things. So on that side, which is the trading side of things, we've been looking at different opportunities, we've been looking at different possibilities, and we've been trading as well. So when the market actually shows you these kind of opportunities in different assets, look for them. Try to utilize that for your benefit. And if you need help for that, to find those one out, SI Family is here to support you. 1,000+ members are actively using all these calls at the right time in the right asset. If you want to join, use the link in the description below in YouTube or in the bio on Twitter. So guys, if you received value, smash that like button. I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.